Hello, my beautiful movie peeps. Apologies for the lack of videos the past couple of days. I was out of town visiting Mama 3C. You gotta pay your mama a visit every now and then. In fact, text her right now and tell her you love her. I'm waiting. But I'm back now and I'm going to be making up for lost time. I just posted my review for Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning. Today I'm going to go watch Insidious The Red Door, so I'll have a review for you guys for that. But today, some of the things we're going to be talking about here on Side Flick is, for one, we have gotten our first set photo of Deadpool 3. It was unbelievable. This movie has been filming for almost a month and we have got nothing, but we finally got it. Be catching up on some of the things James Gunn has been letting us know and teasing with Superman Legacy, because, I got a lot to say about that. And the trailer for The Nun 2 having been released. Will this be a better sequel than the previous one? Really, that alone with so much more, so you guys already know the drill. Check those timestamps in the description. Leave a comment down below. Rub your belly and pat your head at the same time. You remember that? Who decided to do this for the first time? Alright, so the first thing we're going to dive into here today is that trailer for The Nun 2. Now, if you've been watching my channel for a bit, you know I am not a big fan of that first Nun movie. I was absolutely terrified of the Nun character in The Conjuring 2. Legit, that is one of the only modern movie horror characters that genuinely kept me up at night. I'm looking at the corner of my room and it looks like the Nun can be there. And if she's not jumping in bed with me, what we doing, Nun? What we doing? But that first Nun movie just absolutely ruined any excitement or fear I could have had for the Nun continuing on. It's really the worst Conjuring film in my opinion. I prefer La Llorona over that first Nun. So with the Nun 2, I have high hopes in regards that it'll come out like Annabelle 2, where that was a miles better sequel than its first film, and it actually brought the fear back into the Annabelle doll. Really, I wish I could say I knew which way this movie was headed from the trailer, because I think there are some genuinely cool suspenseful thrills in here. You know, the moments where the little girls are just talking, the nun comes out and pops and grabs her head, or you have the magazine stand that then has the nun popping out, sort of paying homage to what happens in The Conjuring 2 where she pops out of the painting. But those could easily be the best jump scares of the movie, and they just showed them here in the trailer. It might just be a bunch of generic, slow, suspenseful, in-your-face moments. I'm hoping the story is going to be able to draw me in here. It looks like we're going to have a little bit more of the origins of the nun. There's some intriguing dialogue about her being a fallen angel and whatnot, but I really wouldn't know to tell you if this would end up being a good movie or a generic one. We know Warner Bros. Right now has a lot of big plans for the Conjuring universe. It's not just the Nun 2. We're gonna get a fourth Conjuring movie, and we have a Max series coming to their streaming service, where I really do think they're gonna be giving us mini stories to all the artifacts in the Warren Museum. But if I had to go one way or another, guys, I'm just gonna tell you, I'm gonna give it trash for now, just because even though it had a couple of good moments, nothing in here made me go, oh, this is gonna be great. But hey, I'm happy to be proven wrong if the movie turns out fantastic, and I'll eat my words up. I want to know from you guys. You saw the trailer for The Nun 2. Are you excited for it, or do you think it's going to turn out to be another generic failure? And while sticking on the train of some horror movie content here, we had Jason Blum recently do an interview talking about some of the future for his company and Atomic Monster, that's James Wan's company, that are soon going to be combined into one. And it's kind of him jumping off the success of the Five Nights at Freddy's viral marketing and how he would kind of want to replicate that further. Basically saying he wants to make more video game movies into horror films. Saying here, well, I think the right video game makes great source material for movies. I mean, you saw that even with the Super Mario Bros. Movie, it's a different genre, but it was an amazingly successful movie, and I certainly hope that's the case with Five Nights at Freddy's. James is actually a big gamer, and we have a games division at our company that we've been working on. I'm definitely looking forward to finding more games that are popular and that we could turn into horror movies. And we see this all the time in the industry. Whenever something big happens that makes $1 billion, like the Super Mario movie, all the other studios go, all right, well, how can we replicate that and be like them? Blumhouse, I don't think, is going to be making $1 billion with Five Nights at Freddy's, but I am hoping it is very successful, very profitable, even with it going to streaming the exact same day. I want that trilogy complete. And we know they're also working on the Dead by Daylight's video game, which is what came to mind at first, where I was like, oh, that would be cool for them to do. And I'm like, oh, they're already doing that. Other than that, I am kind of stumped what video game is out there that Blumhouse could tackle and turn it into a movie. I feel like a lot of the popular video games have already done that, you know, Resident Evil, Silent Hill. I do think about the games like Until Dawn, where they're like decision-making games, but those almost work so well to just be their own story. I feel like it would be so lazy to just copy and paste that into movie form, although it would be nice. But I don't know, maybe you guys can think of some better options out there. With Blumhouse thinking they want to go into the horror video game franchise, what video games would be good to be turned into horror movies? And well, speaking about things that get turned into movies, all of us are getting getting super pumped for the Barbie movie. I know I am. We had the New Yorker come out and just kind of detail some of the upcoming Mattel projects that they're working on aside from Barbie. Some of these we have known for a while, but it's kind of cool just to get a little bit more details on them, starting off with the Hot Wheels movie. Because yes, we are getting a live action Hot Wheels film, which I do think could be a brilliant idea, especially when you look at something like the Fast and Furious franchise. If you can sort of replicate that in your own way, oh, that could be big. And this is kind of what J.J. Abrams had to say about the Hot Wheels franchise, saying, for a long time we were talking to Mattel about Hot Wheels, and we couldn't quite find the thing that clicked, that made it worthy of what Hot Wheels that title deserved. Then we came up with something emotional and grounded and gritty. Hearing the words emotional and grounded is not what I expected in there. I kind of was hoping they'd do some crazy thing and bring in those giant orange tracks everywhere. The other Mattel movie I've been waiting for so long to hear an update on that I thought it was dead is their Magic 8 Ball horror movie. This is where Mattel teamed up with Blumhouse to give us an actual horror film about that Magic 8 Ball, and I was never too excited about it because of the director Jeff Wadlow. Again, no offense to the man, I'm sure he's great and everything, but the horror movies he's made have not really gotten me excited. Truth or Dare, Fantasy Island, and it just really seemed to me like this would be another stinker for him, and maybe the previous script they had was bad because the writers of White Powdered Sugar Bear have now been added on to write the movie, and that actually gives me a lot of hope. I thought White Powdered Sugar Bear was outrageously funny, had some fun gory kills to it. If this turns out to have that kind of tone or just have that same sort of comedy, I think I'm gonna end up liking this movie even with a bad director. He said exactly, we're not going to make any R-rated movies, she promised, although Magic 8 Ball script walks the line a little bit, she went on. We're not going to make anything that feels violent or that is alienating to families. We want to stay within the parameters of what Mattel is. Ending off saying, though, it is suspense film, so that's kind of interesting to hear. In the end, it'll still be a family horror comedy, but I'm willing to give it a shot. This is still a toy. They gotta sell toys by the end of the day. I like the updates we've gotten so far. Which Mattel movie are you most looking forward to so far? Moving on here, talking about Superman Legacy, there have been some updates while I was away that I definitely wanted to talk about with you guys. For one, we got the confirmation James Gunn and DC will not be attending San Diego Comic-Con. Honestly, Comic-Con is gonna be a snooze fest of announcements. It's gonna be like that one year where the biggest thing to come out of Comic-Con was the confirmation that Shark Boy and Lava Girl were coming back for another movie. Oh, you think I'm kidding? That was one of my biggest videos ever during a San Diego Comic-Con announcement. Give me Shark Boy and Lava Girl 3, man. But I've mentioned this, as weird as it sounds not to go to San Diego Comic-Con when he could rule, since Marvel isn't going to be there or any other studio, it's because the more he announces and confirms things with the DCU reboot, the more he's hurting movies like Aquaman 2 and Blue Beetle, where people are kind of like in limbo wondering what's the point of these films? Are they gonna matter? I'm really hoping Blue Beetle can beat that stuff and just be a success, because I want me more Blue Beetle, where I feel like Aquaman 2 has already been decided. Jason Momoa is gonna be doing different things. But that's really the best explanation I can come up with. He's not going to Comic-Con because it just hurts the current movies coming out right now. The other thing that he mentioned off here on social media was that Superman Legacy will not be doing the origin of Superman. Like, yes, the Superman origin is a pretty commonly well-known one, but I feel like there is a generational gap of people who weren't told the Superman story. Like Spider-Man and Batman, every 5-10 years we get that story retold, so it makes sense to me why Batman and Spider-Man don't really have that anymore. Now again, I'm not advocating that we get the origin told and dedicate a large screen time to it, but you know, I would like the first 5-10 minutes of it, you know, kind of like Up style, where they can summarize it really well, baby pod coming to earth and whatnot. It's really not going to matter. I'm sure they're still going to give little small sentences here and there and just kind of give you the big picture scope of his origin. The other thing that was interesting that James Gunn decided to do is he tweeted out a photo of a certain Superman costume. This is the Max Fleischer Superman suit, and a lot of people kind of went crazy with this because James Gunn has been known to tweet these photos, and then months later we find out this was him planning something big. I mean, think back to when he announced the whole Batman and Damian Wayne photo. Then we got announced that that's going to be the movie, Brave and the Bold. So people have taken this photo to mean this could be the Superman symbol that we get in Superman Legacy. And at first I was hesitant. I was like, oh, you're making too many changes right here. No, I don't. You already got to get people on your side here, James Gunn. You make a big change like changing that iconic symbol, people might push back. But then I started seeing like some fan art being popped at the bottom of this and what it could look like in live action. Then I even went back and did some research and history about this specific symbol, and it turns out it's the first time Superman made his debut on cartoon. He had that exact same symbol. I think back also to that episode of Superman and Lois where they kind of did something nice with it, where Superman's mom, Martha Kent, is the one who made him that suit, and they gave him a little sweet moment. It seems like James Gunn could be doing a thing where he starts off wearing one suit and maybe he has another suit by the end of the movie or by the next film. This could also be the way he does the Superman trunks and then gives us no trunks by the end and please both sides, because I'm still red trunks guy. So as much as I was hesitant on that idea of a new Superman symbol being thrown in there, one of the most iconic pieces of the suit, I'm open to it with the idea that we might go back to the traditional look somewhere later on, kind of when he's grown into that Superman persona a little better. Whatever the case may be, I still have a lot of faith in this Superman Legacy movie. I still think it is gonna be the success and drive us forward in the DCU, because if it fails, man, it's gonna be dark times for all DC fans. Let me know what you guys think about some of these updates with Superman Legacy. Bringing us over here to talk about Deadpool 3. Man, I cannot believe the amount of Deadpool updates we have been getting. It was just like a couple of days ago, we saw reports saying that maybe Deadpool 3 was about to finish filming, and I was like, bro, y'all just started making this movie. Luckily, those reports were a little false, and there's still a lot left for Deadpool to film. Whatever the case may be, we finally got our first set photo here letting us know what Ryan Reynolds' Deadpool suit is going to look like for his MCU debut. Now, at first glance, you might not really think there are any huge changes to the suit, but for one, look at the color and vibrancy, man. This suit is popping. I love that they made it more of a vibrant red. Now, of course, everything could change on camera. We've seen with Tom Holland's Spider-Man suit, they drench it in CGI, change up the color. Lighting doesn't always look that great, but with the Deadpool suit, they haven't done that as much. But it could still be a possibility they desaturate it or even saturate it more once the VFX and all that are put in. Now, the other things, putting it side by side with the previous suit that you might want to notice is, for one, the neck piece got some black accents added on. I kind of like that there. I feel like it makes the red pop out even a little bit more. If you zoom in on the belt buckle, you can also notice that they added in Deadpool eyes to the belt buckle, which I think is a great touch and is just like in the comics. I've seen so many people say this, but I don't know how you make a comic book accurate suit even more comic book accurate. But the other things we also have to talk about with these set photos is the location and what they could be filming here, because it was only just a couple of days ago we had gotten this report from Scooper, My Time to Shine Hello, where they said that they are currently filming a scene in Deadpool 3 where Deadpool is in the woods being chased by TVA agents. That's the current rumor we have about this movie, is that the time travel shenanigans Deadpool did at the end of Deadpool 2 are going to come back to haunt him. And now looking at these set photos and Deadpool is literally in the woods, it seems like that description could end up being accurate. Now, the other thing that just popped up with these set photos is another scooper, Can We Get Toast, mentioning here that Wolverine suit, Hugh Jackman, will be wearing the classic yellow and blue suit, and it'll look more like the 2003 Astonishing X-Men suit. Now, I love this suit, and I feel like this would look the best live action, especially because you get the chance to see Hugh Jackman's big muscly arms as part of this suit. I'm sure they'll make the shoulder pads a little less bulgy, but I feel like that suit in live action could be translated really nicely. And when you look back at the new Deadpool suit with how vibrant and colorful it is, putting that suit next to a Wolverine in a bright yellow and blue is gonna look so great. So yeah, I think it's only a matter of time before we maybe see Hugh Jackman also get taken a photo of, and if he's in that suit and we get a hint of it, internet is gonna go wild. Either way, I'm loving everything involved with Deadpool 3. You guys see the suit, these details with the set photos, possibly what Hugh Jackman's Wolverine suit's gonna look like. Does it make you pump? But that is all movie news we currently have going on right now, guys. I want to thank you so much for taking time out of your day to watch me talk some movie news. Don't be forgetting to hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, follow me on Twitter at 3C Films or on TikTok at 3C Films. But as always, I'm Chris. Take care.